an original podcast from podlatino.com.
See you into your pagasti renter. Don't ask that. Why not? Because we don't talk about money. If you grew up in a Latino household, chances are you heard that message loud and clear. Money? It's private. Budgets? Not discussed. Income? Never shared. Debt? Whispered, if at all. In this episode, we're going deep into a cultural silence, why so many Latino families don't talk about money, and how that silence affects everything from financial literacy to generational wealth, independence, and emotional well-being. Let's start at the table. In many Latino homes, meals are sacred. Conversations flow easily about school, gossip, chisme, or politics. But bring up money, the mood shifts. Eyes dart. Tensions rise. There's an unspoken rule. Don't ask. Don't tell. Don't pry. Why? Because money is not just math. It's emotion. It's pride. It's power. It's pain. And for many Latinos, it's shame. Meet Sophia. She's 26. Born in Miami to Cuban immigrants. She works in digital marketing and makes good money. But growing up, money was never discussed at home. My parents worked non-stop, she says. We weren't poor, but I never knew how much we had. If I asked, they'd say, yes or no es para niños. As an adult, Sophia struggled. She racked up credit card debt. She didn't understand interest rates. She didn't know how to negotiate salary. I had to Google everything. She laughs. I was making money, but had no idea how to manage it. I was afraid to even talk about it. That fear didn't come from nowhere. It came from silence. So, why is money so taboo in Latino families? It's complex. It's cultural. It's generational. For many immigrants, money equals survival. It's not something you analyze. It's something you hustle for. If you fled poverty, dictatorship, or instability, your financial habits are shaped by trauma. You save in cash. You distrust banks. You don't take risks. You don't talk about what you don't fully understand. Then there's pride. Parents work themselves to the bone to provide. Admitting financial struggles might feel like failure. Discussing debt might feel like weakness. Asking for help might feel like betrayal. And for many women, money talk is gendered. I grew up hearing that my dad handled the finances, says Anna, 33, from Texas. My mom didn't know what was in the bank. I thought it was normal. That dynamic repeats. Men handle money. Women stretch it. Children don't ask, but silence has consequences. Let's talk about financial literacy. A 2023 study by the FINI Foundation found that Latinos consistently score lower on financial literacy tests than any other major racial or ethnic group in the U.S. This isn't about intelligence. It's about access and conversations. If you never talked about credit growing up, how would you learn? If your parents never explained taxes, how would you file? If no one showed you how to budget, how would you save? In many Latino households, kids don't learn money, they absorb stress. They hear arguments behind closed doors. They feel tension when bills pile up. They notice when mom cries over rent, but they're told, todo está bien, everything's fine. Even when it's not, this silence gets passed down. We asked dozens of young Latinos, did your parents ever talk to you about money growing up? Over 80% said no. That leads to overspending to look stable, undervaluing yourself at work, fear of investing, shame about debt, confusion about how to build wealth. It also creates isolation. You feel like you're the only one struggling. You think everyone else has it figured out. You're afraid to ask questions because you don't want to look dumb or disrespectful. But here's the truth. Silence protects no one. When we don't talk about money, we don't grow, we stay stuck. We repeat cycles. Let's flip the script. Start with yourself. What were you taught about money growing up? What beliefs did you inherit? What secrets shaped you? Maybe you learned that credit is dangerous, that you have to work twice as hard to make half as much, that asking for a raise is being ungrateful, that money is always scarce, that success brings jealousy. Those beliefs aren't facts. They're stories, and you can rewrite them. Then talk to your family. Start small. No lectures, no judgment, just honesty. I want to understand how you managed money growing up. Can we talk about how we handle bills together? I want to learn how to build credit. What's been your experience? Can we share budgeting tips? You might be surprised. Once the door opens, conversations pour out. Your parents might have been waiting for permission. Your siblings might feel the same shame you do. Your partner might crave transparency. Let's talk about partnership. Money is one of the top causes of conflict in relationships. Yet, many couples avoid the topic until it's too late. Healthy money conversations mean sharing goals, understanding spending habits, knowing each other's debt, planning together. You avoid money talk because it's uncomfortable. You risk resentment later. Talking isn't easy, but silence is expensive. We spoke with Alex and Marco, a couple in Chicago. Alex grew up in a Mexican family that never discussed money. Marco's Dominican parents were open about every cent. When we moved in together, we clashed, Alex recalls. I wanted to handle everything solo. Marco wanted spreadsheets. Through therapy and lots of awkward talks, they found balance. Now we do money check-ins every month. Marco smiles. It's our way of saying, we're in this together. That's the power of conversation. It builds connection. It heals shame. It creates clarity. Then there's parenting. Breaking the cycle means teaching your kids what you didn't learn. Talk about saving early. Let them see you budget. Explain credit, debt, and earning. Normalize questions. Let them ask. Let them challenge. Let them grow. Because financial education isn't just about numbers. It's about confidence. Here's the truth. Talking about money won't fix everything. But not talking guarantees nothing changes. We can normalize. Discussing salaries, sharing mistakes, comparing strategies, celebrating financial wins. We can go from fear to freedom. From confusion to clarity. From silence to power. Back to Sophia. Today, she talks about money with her little brother. They compare budgets. She helps him understand his paycheck. I don't want him to feel as lost as I did. She says she also started asking her parents questions. At first, they were hesitant. But now we talk. I know what bills they have. I know how I can support without being in the dark. That's what change looks like. It's slow. It's messy. But it's real. This is Money Talks, Latino edition. In our next episode, Crisis Mode, we dive into what happens when there's no emergency fund, no backup, no room for error. The reality of living one crisis away from collapse. Gracias por escucharnos. And remember, silence is not protection. Talking is how we heal.